Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 39. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you for being here. I always appreciate when you tune in and listen to the show. We're up to 39. Next week is the big 4-0. I feel like I should throw a party or something. We'll talk about parties in a second. Anyway, fun fact about the number 39. In Afghanistan, the number 39 is considered unlucky due to a belief that it is associated with pimps. It also said, see Curse of 39. So there's something called the Curse of 39 that has to do with pimps in Afghanistan. So welcome to episode 39. Today we are going to be pimping comics. Yeah! My guest today is Matt Nelson. He's the creator of Catbeard the Pirate. If you remember back in episode 32, I had a great discussion with Brad Perry, who creates the Pirate Mike comic strip, and we had so much fun talking about comics, and Matt got in touch with me, and I was like, yes, I totally want to talk about comics some more. So Matt Nelson's on the show today to talk about Catbeard the Pirate, and you can find him at catbeardthepirate.com. It's a great strip, different kind of thing from Brad Perry's, and I think you're going to dig it. It's all good. Been a busy week. I spent a lot of time in the Red Shed, in my recording studio, making new tracks, and I should have some stuff out soon. I got 2 new songs in the works. Everything's all tracked. One of them is kind of mixed, and the other one I'm getting started in the mixing. I got 2 songs I'm working on that are completely different. One of them is a song about love and devotion called "Until We Both Drop Dead," and the other one is a big anthemic, I think that's the word, a big like arena rock song called "I Wanna Rock Socially Responsibly." And both of them have been pretty popular at the show, so you'll get to hear them soon as I'm tracking all that stuff. Did some gigs over the weekend, and Friday night was cool. Did a little show in Oakland. That was a kick. Saturday, I did a private party at Mountain Winery in Saratoga, California. Which, if you're in the Bay Area, you know Mountain Winery. It's beautiful. If you don't know, if you're elsewhere, Mountain Winery is in Saratoga, California, which is like a super rich kind of town. It's where the rich people in Silicon Valley live. And it's already expensive to live here in Silicon Valley. And that's even like richer, right? So it's a winery. It's the Paul Masson Winery. And you drive up in the curvy mountains, and you can see the entire valley from where I was. Now, I didn't get to play on the main stage, the big stage where they have concerts all summer. I got to play on the Chateau deck for this party. So I've kind of played Mountain Winery, which is like kind of meeting a goal. Anyway, it was a private party for a guy named Amit. And Amit was turning 40. I guess I should have told this story on next week's show, since the show is turning 40. But anyway, party time, right? And I was the white comedian at this all-Indian birthday party. Which I'm not, that's fine. I'm used to that. I live in a town that's 55% Asian. I'm used to being the only white dude in the room. And I told them that when I opened. Got a little laugh with that. That was nice. But where I ran into trouble was I had written some custom material for Amit and his company. Amit runs a company called Mootly. And so his wife told me that I'm going to be all prepared, right? And I go and I look up Mootly, and the website says that they are a website that hooks up gamers with local gaming groups. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is great. So I'm writing gaming jokes. I'm writing Dungeons and Dragons jokes, right? All this kind of stuff. And so I get to the gig. I'm like all set. I've got, 3-4 minutes of custom material just for them. And I go, Amit, tell me about your company, Mootly. What do you guys do? Right? Because I don't want to say I already know, because I got to play. Here's a secret. We already know what we're going to talk about when we get on stage, even if it seems like we're making it up on the spot. Sometimes we make it up on the spot. Most of the time we already know. But anyway, I like to cover my bases, right? So I already knew, but I wanted to make it look like I was just, Amit, what does your company do? And he goes, oh, we do software as a service. And I said, don't you do something with gamers, gaming groups, anything? He goes, no. I said, well, there's another company called Mootly that does gaming. That's not you? And he's like, no. I said, well, you just destroyed all the custom material I wrote for you. So I didn't get to do any of my gamery jokes. I'm playing at a gaming store this weekend, so I'll probably try them out there. But it was kind of custom stuff, So once we got past that, it was good. Now, outdoor gigs, always a little bit weird. It was outdoors. It was in the mountains. There's a view. We literally see all of Silicon Valley from where we were sitting. And there's a bunch of Indian people Very nice, very good folks, all of them very, very good. I did better with the teenagers than I did with the adults, which I thought was interesting. The teens actually got more of the references, which is always a little weird because I'm older than they are. But everybody seemed to have a good time. It was good. Outdoors, birthday party. I didn't kill. But everybody had a good time. The staff loved me. So all good, but it was interesting. And so those private party kind of things are always sort of weird gigs, but they pay really well. So that's why we do them. By the way, if you have a thing, a private gig, you want something you need, just call me. I'll come and do it. I probably will. Even if you don't have a giant budget, I'll probably do it. That's not true. You should have a giant budget. I'm just kidding. You don't need a giant budget. So my Sundays, here's the thing, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I go out, I am a rock star on stage. I am the guy people take pictures with after the show. And Sunday is when I fix my house. And it's always a nice little humbling experience to realize that there are things that I'm still not good at. And this weekend I was working on the shower. We had a shower leak Sunday, and so we got a broken hinge on the door on the bathroom cabinet. And that is now that door is sitting next to the sink now with no hinges on it at all because, well, it just hasn't worked out yet. I haven't found the right replacement ones. I'm having trouble putting them on. Nothing fits right. You know how when you take things apart, nothing ever goes back together quite the same way. That's what I'm dealing with. So yeah, Wednesday through Saturday, Rockstar. Sunday, back to humble homeowner. That's the way it is. Speaking of Rockstar, let me tell you about some dates I got coming up. May the 5th, that's this Thursday, I will be at the Blue Lagoon in Santa Cruz, California. That is the 9th anniversary of the comedy shows at the Blue Lagoon, and I think I've been going there since the first ones, probably. So that's going to be really fun. May the 6th, I'll be back at the Spice Monkey in Oakland, California. May the 7th, I will be at It's Your Move, also in Oakland, California. That's where I'm going to try out those gaming jokes. May the 13th, I'll be headlining the Redwood Cafe in Cotati, California. May the 17th, I'll be at the Layover in Oakland, California. May the 19th, I'll be headlining the Gold Country Casino in Oroville, California. May 25th, headlining at Ralston's Goat in Modesto, California. I can't say as I've ever played a venue with the name Goat in the name before. And then May 27th and 28th, I will be at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. So lots of California dates this month, but I am going to be other places. I got dates in LA, Pasadena coming up, Colorado Springs, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Fort Myers, Florida, Washington State, Oregon, all sorts of other stuff. And if I'm coming anywhere near you but not close enough to quite make a gig, I do house concerts too. Those are super fun. So if you want me to come and play at your house, that is an absolute possibility. And they're cheap and easy. We don't charge them in for that, but it's definitely fun. I will play your living room. And if you want to find out all the tour dates, just go to underthecrossbones.com and click on the tour dates button, and you can find out where I'm going to be near you. If you're liking the show, and I hope you're liking the show, make sure you dig into the support page. There you can leave a PayPal donation. You just drop it in the box, real easy. You can click the Amazon banner, buy yourself something nice. I get a little kickback on that. It helps the show. Or if you want to be a sponsor of the show, it's cheap, it's easy. I do all the work. You just send me some money, and we are all good. So hit the support page, underthecrossbones.com/support, and you can find out how all that stuff works. All right, let's dig into my interview with Matt Nelson, creator of Catbeard the Pirate. Here we go. You recently introduced yourself to me, and I recently discovered your cartoon, Catbeard the Pirate. So the first thing I have to ask is, why a cat beard?
Well, it came about because I was hanging out with my best friend, and I used to have a cat named Tiger who liked to sit up on my chest. And so one day we were just hanging out, being pudding in the living room, probably watching YouTube or something. And I squished her up on my face, and I was like, "Look, a kitty beard." And he says, "Catbeard the Pirate." And I sat upright. Just I was like, "That I'm doing that. I'm doing that." And the idea immediately leapt into my head. I had the whole first strip, just like it was almost like a bolt of lightning, just popped straight into my head. I was like, I think I drew something like 10 strips that first weekend, just because the inspiration hit me so hard that I was like, "This is going to be a thing. I'm going to have to. This is my next big project."
That's great. I've had inspirations like that too on songs and things like that. And did your friend want to take credit like my girlfriend has in the past?
He had no desire to take credit. I mention him all the time anyway, just because he gave me the initial idea, but he He's not a writer.
That's cool. You never. It's just in little discussions, things like that come up, and it's always amazing what you can run across. The power of brainstorming, I guess. So let's go back a little bit. Where do you come from? How did you get into cartooning?
I'm from Spokane, Washington, and I've been into cartooning just about as long as I can remember. I've loved drawing my whole life. Read lots of comics growing up. Probably a lot of Spider-Man and Superman when I was a real little kid. Then from about age 10 to 12, I started discovering more indie comics and that kind of thing. And so that's when I started really getting into, the more of the comics world and just, I don't know, kind of never looked back. I've, had periods in and out where I didn't draw as much, but these days I draw quite a bit, whether I'm drawing my comic or working on other projects.
Mm-hmm. And what was the appeal of the indie comics over the mainstream stuff to 10-year-old you?
Oh, probably the story. I got started on things like Usagi Yojimbo and Mage, The Hero Defined by Matt Wagner, which is insanely good. And gosh, what else? ElfQuest probably some when I was in 6th grade. Trying to think. I know there's something else that I'm forgetting, I'm sure, but not that I don't love superhero books, but I have a tendency. I just think the indie stories are a little bit better, just because if nothing else, it allows for character change. I mean, Spider-Man's got to be Spider-Man forever, and I love Spider-Man, but he can't really. No lasting change can be made to Spider-Man because he's always got to be able to be presented to a new generation. Where, I can read a smaller press book, and it's just one story, and that story's over. And it was a great story, and I don't have to, you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again for the next generation. It's just, nope, this is that story, and it's done. And it was great, wasn't it?
So they're not as concerned with the decades long longevity that some of the mainstream superhero comics and things like that have. They're okay if here's a story and then we're done with it. Let's move on to something else.
Exactly, yeah. And then, although there are some. I mean, Usagi Yojimbo actually is still going. Almost 30 years later. Huh. It's probably it's my biggest influence, but it's also probably the exception to the rule that I say there because it is still going and I still love it. But Mage, the one I mentioned before, it underwent severe tonal shifts and that kind of thing later on, and so some of those other ones that I mentioned, like I said, the opportunity for change, I think, is what struck me the most. Just because I like seeing growth in characters and arcs that actually mean something, that won't get reset all the time. I have a definite end plotted out for Catbeard, so once I reach that end, that's it. It won't be there won't be a reboot. I'll move on to something else.
Oh, interesting. And so as I was reading through your Catbeard the Pirate comics, I was noticing that you definitely do have lengthy storylines that you don't see in some of the other simpler 4, 5, 6 panel kind of things where there's a punchline at the end, wrap it up, onto the next thing. Your stories actually go on for quite a while, and I imagine that was just based on the books that you like to read. Yes.
Somewhat, although it was also when I started Catbeard, it kind of started out as a gag strip with single page things. But as I went on, when I did the first big story, which was when they went to the dinosaur island, it came about mostly because I thought of this image of Catbeard running away from a T-Rex, and I was like, I'd like to draw that. And then I was like, how do I get to draw that? And I was like, I'm gonna have to do some setup for that. And then suddenly there was like a 20-odd page story, So, but I found it easier to write. Actually, it's easier to write a long story, for me anyway, than it is to be consistently funny over short periods.
That makes sense. It's sort of the difference between doing a 4-minute bit with punchlines scattered throughout and trying to do one-liners.
Exactly. Yeah. I have great respect for gag-a-day cartoonists because it's got to be incredibly hard. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, it's that's a tricky art form. So, how long have you been doing Catbeard for?
This March was the 5th year anniversary.
Oh, fantastic! That's really great. And when you started it, So you said you and your friend kind of accidentally brainstormed the name of the thing and the character. And what kind of development process did you have to go through to kind of get your first strips out, or did you just kind of dive in on the first strips and put them out?
Oh, I dove right in. The character leapt almost completely fully formed into my head. The only difference between the first image in my head and the final page was his hat. I kid you not. Everything else was exactly the same.
Huh.
It was very much a bolt of inspiration thing.
Interesting. Now, were you a pirate guy in the past, or did it just kind of come up within the context of the strip?
A little bit. I've always loved the Secret of Monkey Island games,
Okay,
which are incredibly funny, and another comedic pirate thing.
sure.
So I've always loved those. I like the first and fourth Pirates of the Caribbean film.
The first and the fourth. That's an odd combination.
The second and third have a good movie in there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
But it's one of those things that's like, I wouldn't mind. How people like to do those fan edits of movies.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I would be very interested to see someone do a fan edit of 2 and 3 into one movie, because there's some good elements in there, but I don't think it needed to be 2 films.
That's true. Usually it's the fourth one that's a little bit reviled among fans.
It is. I think I just liked it because it was self-contained. I was like, oh, it told a nice, concise story. I'm okay with this.
Sense. Yeah. A story it took 2.5 hours to get there, but
well, yeah.
yeah.
I think I've become numb to that kind of thing with superhero movies these days. It's like, what, 3 hours? Sure, why not? What else am I doing today?
That's my girlfriend loves the superhero movies, and I can kind of take them or leave them, and she has to see them, and I'm like, could we do this in an hour and a half, please? Please tell your story in an hour and a half. People got to pee. We can't sit here. For 3
it's
hours.
off topic, but if you're looking for a good 90-minute amazing film, and Cloverfield Lane.
Oh, is it good? I
Oh
haven't
my
seen it
gosh,
yet.
it's so good. I've seen it twice. I want to see it a third time, and it's about 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes of pure intensity.
Oh, nice. Well, I will definitely have to check it out. That sounds cool. So tell me a little bit about how not being a comic book artist myself and knowing very little about that industry, how do you go out and push a comic book strip? See how stupid I sound?
It's totally fine.
I sound like my dad sometimes. I had to,
you and me both.
Yeah, right. I had to laugh at my dad one day when he said, I hope that guy is not hip hopping. Really? Okay.
They are all rapists.
Yes. So what I meant to say is, how do you go about putting a comic out in the world on the internet? How do you get it out to people in general?
Originally I started posting it on Blogspot of all places, just because it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
As I learned more and more about it, I set up a simple website with WordPress, that kind of thing, and just started putting it out. I actually had done a webcomic back in the very late 90s and early 2000s. Back in ye olde days of doing your old HTML yourself in a text editor.
I remember it well.
I knew a little bit about it, but there's lots of great resources these days, which is kind of nice. And I've had friends help me out with that kind of thing too. But honestly, I just started putting it up. I find that if you try too hard to get an audience, it's harder to get an audience, if you see what I'm saying. If that's your main focus, and it's not telling the story. I don't have a huge audience. I mean, there's enough people who read it, but when I do it, I do it surely because I love telling stories, and I like telling this character's stories. So I just put it out there for people to find, and people, when people do find it and they like it, it's very gratifying. But I'd say I probably have more repeat fans almost through local conventions and that kind of thing than I do through the internet, or at least more vocal ones. The internet fans are very, very quiet if they're out there.
That's interesting. So you are doing sort of the convention thing and putting the word out that way?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. It only makes sense to.
Interesting. I've never been to any of those particular conventions, so I don't know how they work, but are you sitting at a table selling books and drawing pictures for people, or?
That's exactly it. Yep. There's me, my banner, my pile of books, and a winning smile.
Yeah, nice. I like it. That's great. So you've set your stories within, I guess, sort of a golden age setting of piracy.
It's very nebulous. Yes.
Yeah, it's very nebulous, but But there's wooden ships and people with eye patches and
Yes.
that kind of thing. So, what did you? Was there a decision process at all about that? Were you thinking about putting him in modern times or some other place or some other time?
Oh no, I definitely wanted the golden age of piracy. For a lot of reasons. For one, it's what most people think of when they think of pirates.
Sure.
Another thing, modern pirates. I mean, we're distanced enough from real old pirates of the time to almost have a sort of charming whimsy about them. When in reality, of course, they were just as horrible as modern pirates. But modern pirates, there's enough news and awareness of them that it would seem kind of tasteless to do a modern pirate story, I think, unless
Sure.
you were doing it from the perspective of, a serious crime story, which I would not do. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But that, and by putting it in that golden age of piracy and having it be a fantastic comic, I could allow a lot more fantasy elements. I mean, the current storyline is them competing in a Roman gladiator style arena, which floats on the sea, led by these two mad pirates who believe themselves to be the reincarnations of Romulus and Remus. So I mean, yeah, and I can do that kind of thing, in a ye olde pirate setting. Whereas,
Yeah.
if I tried to do that in modern, that would seem, well, it might be cool, but it would almost seem more ludicrous somehow.
Sounds perfectly realistic to me. And so, I mean, it's not just Catbeard the pirate. He's got a whole crew of people. How when you were bringing new characters in, was it kind of one at a time, or did you say this guy needs a crew? Let's do a whole bunch of characters all at once.
Initially, I just started drawing random background pirates, and the ones aside from his first mate, who I kind of designed pretty early on because I was like, well, he needs a first mate that's going to show up a lot. So for Gunny, I had designed him. But really, it would just sort of became a case of ascended extras, in the background.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I kind of like how that guy came out, and so I would draw him again. And I like how that guy came out, but maybe I will tweak this, and I would bring him to the foreground. And eventually, I was like, well, I've got a cast here now, so the random guys are not going to get drawn anymore, and now it's all these dudes. And actually, it came to the point where in the Dinosaur Island storyline, I was like, they need names. I had to actually sit down and I was like, I need to name these guys. And so I was drawing the current strip, and I realized that I was going to have to introduce them. And I went, hold on.
Here's that
frankly
guy
scribbling
and
down
that
names.
guy.
I'm like, that works for him. Yeah, that's great. So, it just sort of grew naturally. And like I said, aside from Gunny, who I had designed from just about day one, because I was like, well, he's got to have a first mate. That's him.
Sure.
There he is.
That's great. And I imagine that opened up a lot of new avenues for storytelling as well, because the ones that I read, there were complete subplots that Catbeard was not in at all.
Yeah. I eventually started, because when it started becoming more of a story-driven strip, I decided that he didn't have to be in every comic. And I thought that was also kind of important for the longevity of the strip.
Mm-hmm.
So if the main character is always in there all the time, sometimes it can get almost tiresome. It's like, does he never sleep? That kind of thing. But I wanted to be able to branch out and tell little side stories. Mr. Brevis and his warped tendency to collect ears, that kind of thing. Just all these things that could happen. Plus, if these characters have enough character, when he's not on screen and they're doing something, it's still interesting to the reader, and that helps too.
Sure, certainly, yeah. And you have two female characters in the
Yes.
cast. One good guy, one bad
actually,
guy.
more coming.
More coming.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to? I mean, because females don't generally figure in all that much in pirate stories unless they're the damsel in distress. What made you decide that you needed some? And they're strong female characters that you have in there.
Oh, thank you. I tried.
Yeah.
It came about for a few reasons. One of them was, I did sort of look at my comics one day and go, wow, I got a lot of dudes in here, don't I? But there's a friend of mine online. His name is Kelly Tyndall. He also does a pirate comic called Strangebeard. Very, very good comic about a little girl who's possessed by the ghost of like 100-year-old pirate, I think. Huh. And so she goes by Strangebeard when she ties her hair down around her face, like a beard. Yeah, great comic. So much fun. Um, uh, Very frustrating because so often it's way better than mine, and I'm just like, oh, you make me crazy, man. But I was like, and he has a lot of really great female characters in his book, and I was like, I need some more. I need some more lady pirates. Plus, lady pirates are fun to draw.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh, I'm blanking on my own characters' names. Cassandra Cutthroat. She's the pirate with the kind of like tied back dreadlocks. She was actually designed by Kanan Grawl, who is a fantastic cartoonist who did a piece of fan art for me.
Oh,
that is in the first book that I put out. And one of the characters, he drew this great picture of Catbeard with his beard being surrounded by adoring pirate women, who thought his beard was so cute. And I was like, this is great. And he did this one character, and her design was so great. I was like, oh man, I contacted him. I was like, do you mind if I just put her in the comic? Because she looks amazing. And I was like, I love her. She looks great. And so I started writing her in as like an old shipmate of Catbeard's who had, before he was Catbeard and before he was a captain. And so she's grown now, and in the current storyline, she's a captain of her own ship now, and she's actually changed her look quite a bit just because I wanted to make her more captainy. And I really and then his arch nemesis Templeton, I wanted him to have a female first mate. I don't know why, I just did. And so gosh, I'm having a night. I am blanking on my own characters' names. I work at 4 a.m. on my day job on Wednesdays, so I'm quite tired.
Fully explains it. Yes.
But at any rate, his Templeton's first mate, I designed her, and I just thought, yeah, she's great. I like her, and so she's in there. So yeah, and then I don't know if I should spoil this for people who haven't read it much yet, but there's Sea Legs. She's one of Catbeard's crew members. She's actually, well, spoiler alert here, she's secretly Templeton's daughter. And so I just thought that'd be a really great plot twist down the road, and so I put her in there as a way of introducing another female character too, just because I was like, well, this could just, why make it his son? Why not make it his daughter, who is ambitious and wants to get to this big treasure, and thinks Catbeard is the best way to do it.
That's cool. And so how far ahead, because you said you even have an ending sort of plotted out already, how far ahead do you think in your storylines? Or is it just kind of when a new chapter or storyline occurs to you, you run with it?
It's a little bit of both, but I have most of the big set pieces planned. And there's a few loose ends I got to tie up, but I'm figuring that there's, excuse me, I'm figuring about 7 books is what I've got basically planned. And the 4th one, I'm actually going to start the Kickstarter up for it. I had previously tried one in last year, but I'm going to try it up again in May with a more modest print run goal. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And I saw you were involved with the that pirate card game Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah, Scuttle. Yeah. Boy, that thing's just taken off, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw it like last week or so. Tell me, and I don't know much about it. I emailed the guy to talk to him, and I haven't heard back, but he's probably busy. But what's your involvement in it?
Well, basically, I saw it, and my roommates and I are big board game fans. We love board games and card games. And so I frequently will just, when I'm hanging around on Kickstarter, there are 2 categories I look at the most, which is comics and games, tabletop games. And so I saw this, and, the artwork was really nice, and it's a pirate card game, and it was simple rules, and I was like, these are all things I love. And then I saw that he had promo cards in there. I was like, you know what? Let's just ask what the heck? Why not? And so I emailed him. I was like, hey, I backed your game. I'm going to back your game regardless. It looks like a lot of fun, but I've done this comic for 5 years online. Would you be interested in featuring Catbeard as a character, as a potential stretch goal in the game? And he was like, yes, send me a sketch. Let me see what you're thinking. I was like, yeah, I'll send you a sketch. I'll send you a whole bunch of sketches. I was like, are you kidding me? So I sent him a bunch of sketches. He picked one he liked. And so he made it a stretch goal for the game, which blew through in like 48 hours.
Wow.
Because, like I said, his campaign has been doing phenomenally well. So, so apparently there's going to be I don't know what the specifics of his, it's his game. He's designed it. So, I mean, I don't have input there, but I'll be doing a finalized piece to get to him pretty soon here. And so yeah, once the card game is printed, there'll be a promo version of Catbeard in there for the Kickstarter crew.
Nice. That's fantastic. Well, I think by the time this interview goes out, the Kickstarter for that game will be finished, and he'll have plenty of money because he's way over the top.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's insane. It's well over 1,000% funded. It's maddening.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, it's craziness.
I actually asked him. I was like, "This is your first one, right?" I kind of hate you a little bit right now. I'm not gonna lie. He said, like, well, I worked on it for like a year before I launched. I was like, all right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Though, from things I'm seeing for games, that almost seems to be the case because you really want to have, and that's actually kind of true for comics too. You want to have all your ducks in a row. As much prep work as you can do before you actually start launching is really, really good. I mean, when I launch for any of my books, it's not a Kickstarter, pay me so I can finish this. This is finished. I just want to print it. Please give me money.
I see. Yeah. So you're almost doing it more like a pre-ordering system.
Mm-hmm. As much as Kickstarter likes to put themselves forth as an idea that, help finance creators to do these things, it's totally what people use it for. That's the unspoken secret of Kickstarter. You're probably going to be pre-ordering something.
Right. Cool. Well, we will be looking for Scuttle and the Captain Catbeard. I'm sorry, Catbeard the Pirate. I can say
no worries.
It's late for me too. Late.
Yeah.
It's 7:30 in the evening. It's there I am. I'm my dad again. Yeah. So you've got how many books out now?
3 books out in total now.
Okay.
This is so the 4th one will be coming out. I have to be honest. It's pretty cool for me because. This is the most I've ever done on any one comic project that I've ever worked on, and it just sort of feels good to see all that completed work.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Where's the best place for people to pick those up?
The website, catbeardthepirate.com. There are some local shops here in Spokane that carry them.
Okay.
Getting other comic shops online to order it, it's difficult to get comic shops online to order your stuff unless you are with the big comic distributors, unfortunately, but I'm still working on that.
Sure.
Not the comic distributors. Diamond distributing is a foreign thing to me. I really need to have someone sit me down and explain to me how that might work. But I'm working on trying to get more and more shops to carry the book. But and I'm even looking into how I can get it listed on Amazon, that kind of thing, because. Well, people like Amazon. People trust Amazon. I use them. So I mean,
yeah. I was going to ask if you had done Amazon. It's actually not too difficult to process because I've got my stuff on there as far as music and things like that.
But is that a digital distribution or is that physical?
I have both on there actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah.
We may have to chat about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. Yeah, I can help you with that. Cool. So that's great. So I will make sure to link everybody over to catbeardthepirate.com so they can pick up the books and see the strips and all that kind of stuff. And do you have plans for any other characters that will have animals attached to their body parts?
I would hate to take away his uniqueness. However, there has long been a potential for a character like that, and I don't want to give anything else away because it would spoil something. But if it happens, this is one of those decisions I keep going back and forth on doing. But if it happens, it has been thought of.
Nice. It'll be Giraffe Leg, the first mate.
Oh my gosh, that would be that would be interesting.
Oh man,
I've had people suggest that I should do a dog beard, frog beard, all these other things.
Oh man, well Matt, this has been super fun, man. I'm glad we got a chance to talk.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will send everybody over to catbeardthepirate.com. Is there anything I didn't ask about that you want my listeners to know about?
Just keep an eye out on Kickstarter in May. So when the new Catbeard Book 4 launches.
Perfect. That will be a good time. Everybody look for Kickstarter in May for Catbeard the Pirate Book 4. All right. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you later, man.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There it is, friends. That is my interview with Matt Nelson, creator of the Catbeard the Pirate comic strip. And you can find Matt and his comic strips at catbeardthepirate.com. Be sure to look out for the Kickstarter that he's got going this month for his new book. I looked today, and it's not up yet, but I'll link it up in the show notes as soon as it is up. But in the meantime, you can keep an eye out for it as well. because you know how to find those things. Our sponsor today on the show is Anything Goes Vermont. They're an old world trading post carrying a mix of custom items, modern upgrades, handcrafted workmanship. They offer on-site blacksmithing, leatherworking, chainsaw carvings, Vermont folk art, locally made soap, candles, craft supplies, oddities, seasonal goods like Vermont maple syrup, small farm honey, certified wild ginseng, and bloodworms. If you need bloodworms and ginseng, this is where you get it, friends. Make sure to check out their online sales. They got New England antiques and even like retro video games and overstock items and all sorts of cool stuff. And you can find them. You go to Twitter and you look up the hashtag Professional Mountain Folk. Follow Anything Goes on Twitter for amazing deals. Anything Goes Vermont is always looking for new and exciting inventory, and the stuff they find will surprise you. That's Anything Goes Vermont. Check them out at underthecrossbones.com/AGVT. That's underthecrossbones.com/AGVT. We're also sponsored today by LifeLock. And look, there are pirates out there, friends. They are modern pirates. They dress crummy. They eat Cheetos, and they work on a laptop in a basement. They're not good people. They don't even have a sword. But they want to steal your identity, and that's what they do. Especially this time of year, everybody's got the charge cards out, right? Taxes are just finished, all this kind of stuff. Identity theft is like the number 2 crime happening right now. So you want to protect yourself. It's just part of the game these days. Get yourself a LifeLock membership. It's cheap. It's like $9.95 a month, and you can get 10% off. All you have to do is go to underthecrossbones.com/LifeLock. Click the Start Your Membership button. It's a green one, I think, and you get 10% off your LifeLock membership. It's cheap. It's easy. They will help you fix it if somebody tries to steal your stuff. Got an ebook for you as well. The Pirates of Panama or the Buccaneers of America, whichever title you prefer, for the Alexander X. Quemeling book. It's a classic piece of pirate writing from the Golden Age. It's good stuff. And if you are a pirate fan, you definitely want to check it out. You can get it free. Go to underthecrossbones.com and just click on the free ebook link. Or if you're out and about and all you got your phone and you don't want to use your browser, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. All right, we got some comedy today. We got some music. For comedy today, we have a lovely lady named Stephanie Garcia from Sacramento, California. Very, very funny, and I think you're gonna dig her jokes a lot. And then we've got some music. We got a song called "Chocolate" from Kenny Thomas and the Southern Baptists. And Kenny's a good buddy of mine from here in San Jose. Does really unique music that I think you're gonna like. So, ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Turn it up, because here we go. Comedy from Stephanie Garcia and the song "Chocolate" by Kenny Thomas and the Southern Baptists.
So we have 2 kids. They are 12 years apart because we are planners. And got a 15-and-a-half-year-old and a 3-and-a-half-year-old right now. And sometimes in this generation, people think that it's her kid. The little boy is her kid, and when I'm mad at her, I let him. We're in the store the other day, and some old lady decided to walk up and give her opinion, because that's what people do these days. And they walked up there, and she's like, "That's what you get for whoring around at your age." But I was so mad at her for something later, I just high-fived the lady. I was like, yeah, whore. I don't hate my kids. I want to. But I'm afraid I'd like it too much. And I've learned a lot in 12 years, like I can't shake the little one. Lots of research. I get it, guys. So my older one has ADD, not because I shook her, just because she has ADD. Because they all have ADD these days, don't they? They all have ADD. And I let her. I don't medicate her. I need the material. The other day she asked me, she's like, I'm like, "Hey, go get your shoes on. We're going to the dog park." And she's like, "Can we bring the dogs?" I said, "Think about what you just said. We're going to the dog park." And she's all, "Sorry, can we bring the dogs, please?"
That's our show for today, friends. If you enjoyed it, I hope you will go over to iTunes and leave us a nice little 5-star review. Those help us pop up the charts over there, which gets more people listening to the show. And the more, the merrier. So go leave that nice iTunes review for us, and that would be great. You can get all the show notes for this show, links, all sorts of stuff at underthecrossbones.com/039. That's where you get all the notes for this show. If you want to find out more about Matt Nelson and Catbeard the Pirate, go to catbeardthepirate.com. If you want to hear more comedy from Stephanie Garcia, go to facebook.com/sgarciafan. sgarciafan on Facebook, and that's Stephanie Garcia. If you want more from Kenny Thomas and the Southern Baptists, go to facebook.com/Kenny Thomas and the Southern Baptists. Man, I love a long name. That's great. Again, all those show notes at underthecrossbones.com/039. And until next time, friends, keep your powder dry and your whistle wet.